Amen, amen. Glad to have y'all here today. Welcome back, welcome back. We're glad to see everybody here today. Let me move this camera, make sure y'all can see me good. Uh, so I can thank God that we are here today. Today we're going to, I got all three of my daughters here today. We just had church and we just had a great time in the Lord. We did some singing and we did some Bible verses and we did some meditation and right now we're going to get into the message. I don't record the message portion of the service because just for time restraints and everything. But today I want to get into a lesson. I'm not gonna hold you long. My daughter, she's got to go to work today, and so I'm not gonna hold you long. I'm gonna keep this one kind of short as the Lord wills, though. But I'm gonna keep it kind of short today. But I want to talk to y'all. I know last week I talked about mistakes. You know what were mistakes, and you know, and all of that. And I pray that you got something out of it. Today, we're going to talk about obedience and disobedience. And exactly what is it? And why is it that some people obey and others don't? Is it a predestined thing or is it a willpower thing or is it a love thing? You know, you got some people that obey, you got some people that disobey. And I believe this that nobody is 100% obedient 100% of the time. And you know a lot of people teach where if you ain't obedient, then you can lose your salvation. But I've always taught relationship is your relationship with God that helps you stay in salvation. Because you think about it, who's obedient 100%? Who's obedient 100%, 100% of the time? So in that case, if obedience makes me lose my salvation, and how many disobedience do I have? Is there a number on it? Is there a cutoff number? Can I be disobedient? Is it 10, 20, 100, 1,000? How many times can I be disobedient? I mean, if it's based on myself, me keeping my salvation is based on just that, on how many times I disobey. What's the cutoff number then? Well, it ain't that. Well, what is it then? So it must be relationship. It's relationship. Now I'm not telling anybody that it's okay to be disobedient. What I'm telling you is not about how much you disobey to the point where you can lose your salvation. Because if you really love God, and if you're really walking with God, and you are really in a relationship with God, you're gonna automatically want to obey. But even then, how many times do you disobey? I want to be, as a Christian, as a saved person, I want to be obedient to God. As a person that loves God and walk with God, I want to be pleasing to God. I want to God look at me and say, you know, Philip, this person was pleased to me. I was pleased with this person's life. I was pleased with what this person did. I don't want to look God be looking at me. I was displeased with you. I was displeased with what you did. I was displeased with what you said. You know, that type of thing. I want God to be pleased with me. Because why? Because I'm in a relationship with Him. And so the question comes up is, what is obedience? What's disobedience? And an even better question is, how do I be more obedient to God? Is it a predestined thing? Is it something that God give you, or do you just have to conjure up the willpower to obey? Or is it love? Did this person love me more than God because he's more obedient to me? Is that the measuring stick of God, your love for God, and how much one person I'll obey another person? One person I can obey you. I go to church. I read my Bible. I can show I obey you. I can obey you. I obey you any day. You don't even obey as much as I obey, so then you must not be good as me then. You see how that person get all in pride, bragging how much they obedient. That's why I say it's relationship. Relationship trumps all of that. Relationship with God, because it's a one-on-one thing with God and you. God is leading you. He's convicting you when you do wrong. He's guiding you when you do right. You holding God. Any relationship, every relationship has ups and downs. Now you married folk. How many times Have your wife did everything you like all the time? Do your wife do everything you like 100% of the time? Did your wife do everything you want her to do 100% of the time? No, she probably doesn't, does she? You don't be like, I want a divorce. Every time she do something you don't like, I want a divorce. Same thing with the husband. Every time your husband do something that you didn't like every single time, first thing I tell him, I want a divorce. Well, they're kind of doing it. That's the way it is now, but it used to didn't be like that. When the husband and wife, it took a lot to get a divorce. I mean, when the husband did something the wife didn't like, she either learned to live with it or they sit down and discuss it and try to come to, some common ground or something. They try to work things out instead of hollering, I want a divorce every time something don't go right. Every time she don't do right or he don't do right, they holler, I want a divorce. Well, it's the same thing with God. Every time you disobey God, like, okay, that's it. I'm snatching my salvation back. Since you didn't do what I told you to do. So I gotta take it back from you. Sorry, man, I gotta take it. You'd obeyed like 10 times in a row, and then maybe I would have let you keep it, but you disobeyed like 3 times. So guess what? Three times, 3 strikes you out. I gotta take it back. See how crazy that sounds? But it's this. Obedience brings increase. I remember preaching that, but what causes you to obey is your walk with God. When you love God, when you're in a relationship with God, when you talk to God. I told somebody earlier, you want everybody to think you got a great relationship with God, go to church. If you really want a great relationship with God, go to your prayer closet. Talk to God. Spend time with God. Get in a relationship with Him. Tell Him your problems. Tell Him your faults. Tell Him your struggles. Tell Him, tell Him how much you love Him. Tell Him how bad you want to obey Him. Tell Him what somebody did to you that ain't right. Tell Him what you did to somebody else that ain't right. Even your fears. Talk to God like you be talking to your best friend. God is not an imaginary friend. He's real and He's right there. And guess what? Meditate. Meditate. That's your time. That's God's time to whisper those things in your heart that He wants to tell you. People don't meditate. You can either meditate before you pray or meditate after you pray. To me, I don't guess it's that big of a difference. Some people like to meditate before they pray. Some people like to meditate, but add some meditation to your prayer life. Meditate. Talk to God, and the meditation time is for God to talk back to you. And you can listen. The more you meditate, the more you sit and worship God and think about God, the more His voice will become real to you. The reason why God's voice is not real to you because you don't meditate. When you meditate, you think about other stuff. You think about something you got to do later on. You think about what somebody did to you, or what you gonna say to somebody, and all this other stuff. Put your mind on God. You got to put a guard over your thoughts. I know it's hard. It's hard because thoughts sometimes force their way in. And so it's a fight keeping evil thoughts out of your head. And some thoughts keep coming back. But you got to put a guard over your thoughts. I use the 3-second rule. I try not to let a wicked or wrong thought stay in my head over 3 seconds. I try to kick it out of my head. And so you find yourself fighting thoughts all day long. Fighting wrong thoughts. But the more you fight, the stronger in anything, the more you fight, the stronger you become. It's going to be hard at first, fighting off wrong thoughts. But the more you fight them off, the better you get at fighting them off. Amen? So like I said, I don't want to hold y'all long today. But remember this. Obedience comes from relationship. Not obedience don't come from willpower. Obedience comes from relationship. When you got a relationship with God, your ability to obey is greatly increased. And even then, when you obey 100% of the time, no, that's when you ask God to forgive you. Ask God to help you. Ask God to show you how to do better. That shows God that you want to do better because you're taking the time to tell Him that you want to do better. And you ain't trying to trick God because He know if you telling the truth or not. It ain't like God. It ain't like you trying to manipulate God. You really think you can manipulate God? Come on now. Even the dumbest person know you can't manipulate God. So the fact that you telling Him you want to do better, He know your heart, and so He knows that you want to do better. He knows that you're sincere when you ask Him to forgive you. But your relationship is what leads to obedience. What is disobedience? Disobedience is when you get drawn away, you start compromising in your mind, you start wondering, well, God will forgive me and all this other stuff. Disobedience is basically listen to the lies of the devil. Think about Adam and Eve in Genesis. How did she disobey? She started listening to them lies. When you sit back and you start listening to the lie, you let wrong thoughts get in your head, guess what it leads to? Disobedience. So it's all in the mind, really. Your thought, what you think about, is what you're going to do. And what you do is what you've been thinking about. Trust me, a person don't do something unless they think about it first. So it's really in your mind. And if you got a mind that's in a relationship with God, and you got a mind where you're protecting your thoughts, it's harder for you to be disobedient. Not to say you won't be disobedient, but now you know what leads to disobedience. Because there's a lot of stuff that can lead to disobedience, but it really starts in your mind. And it's a fight. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a fight. But if you love God and you want to stay in a relationship, it's worth the fight. Amen. I pray that your day will be blessed. I pray that God will continue to help you and bless you. And if you like these videos, put a comment down below. If you didn't like the video, or if you want to make a comment or something I didn't do good enough and didn't say it right, or something you just didn't like, you put that down there too. I'll probably read it. I mean, if you just want to be mean, then I ain't gonna take it to heart. Cause I done been mean to before. I know the difference when somebody just trying to just tell me something, and they just trying to be mean on the sly. Yeah, some people they try to be mean on the sly. But anyway, I'd like to think if you liked it, hey, give me some encouragement. Pray for me, and I'll be praying for my listeners. I pray for those that listen to me that God will open both our hearts and that we will both have a relationship with it. Amen. Thank God and be blessed.